back to Autism Live. We are so excited. For the first time on the show, we have Aimee Sackrider, and we have her on audio, and you're seeing her lovely picture there. But Aimee, let's welcome, first of all, and let's start with talking about what your exact role is at CARD. What do you do and where?
Absolutely. So I am in San Antonio, Texas, and I am a clinical manager for two of our offices in the area. So my primary role is to support our BCBAs in both offices and oversee the clinical quality in both of our offices, as well as help new families as they come in and help our operations managers a little bit with the admin side of the offices.
And I honestly feel like you guys have something really special going on in San Antonio. There's a pocket of wonderful people, and you're a part of that. And so I thank you for everything that you do there. So Aimee is an autism expert, and we're going to ask her some of the questions that you guys have written in. So Aimee, the first one, this is so funny. We just did Extinction Burst. I forgot because I sent these to you a while ago. So they said, I would like to understand extinction. My therapist says, put it on extinction, which I think means ignore it, but sometimes I ignore it and I'm wrong. What am I not getting? This is kind of great because this is the most misunderstood thing, I think, for parents.
Absolutely. Sure. So the good news is you're kind of on the right track with this. But what it comes down to, and I'm sure you talked about this on the show many times, Shannon, is it comes down to the function. It depends on why the behavior is happening. And of course, there are 4 reasons why the behavior could be happening. It could be because the person doesn't want to do something that they're being asked to do for escape. It could be because they want something they don't have, and access to tangible. It could be because they want some sort of attention, or it could be because they're doing it just because the behavior feels good in and of itself, an automatic function. So extinction means that we are breaking that relationship between the behavior and the usual result or reinforcer. And so if your child is engaging in a particular behavior for attention, then using planned ignoring or not giving them attention is using extinction. That's called attention extinction. However, if they are doing the behavior for one of the other 4 reasons, one of the other 3 reasons, escape, access to tangible, or automatic, then simply ignoring the behavior is probably not going to work the way you want it to. If they are engaging in a particular behavior because they don't want to do something, and then you just ignore them, then probably what's happening is they are getting to get out of that particular task or escape the situation, which is probably going to make them do the behavior more rather than decreasing it the way you're trying to. So the good news is if the behavior is happening for attention, then ignoring it or ignoring the behavior is using extinction, but you really want to make sure you're clear on what the function is before you decide to ignore the behavior.
Right, because and what I had just been saying with extinction burst is it's like cutting off the blood supply of what's making it happen. And if you cut off the wrong blood supply, because attention is the thing that you're giving when you're ignoring a behavior, and if that's not the blood supply, then that's why you've got it wrong. And I think that too often people explain extinction as planned ignoring, and often it isn't. So hopefully that makes sense. But what she said is what I'm going to say. What she said. Okay, so the next question, that was great, Aimee. So the next question, I have a 3-year-old recently diagnosed with autism. He goes to school in a special autism program. Now ABA says 40 hours. School says quality is more important than quantity. 40 is too much with school. What do you say?
Got it. So I'll preface this by saying that it definitely matters what your son's specific circumstances are, and of course I don't know those. But what I can tell you is there is a really large body of research to show that the earlier and more intensively ABA intervention is provided, the more progress a child will make. And if you think of it like this, the purpose of ABA is really to make as many possible moments of your child's time a learning opportunity as you can. And we have the luxury of doing that really, really frequently if we're working with them for 40 hours a week. And right now, there's a certain amount of things that your child doesn't know how to do, right, that their peers do know how to do. And with time, that gap is just going to increase, right, because their peers are going to continue learning pretty quickly, and your son may have certain deficits that are interfering with his ability to learn at the same rate that they are. And the goal of ABA is to close that gap as quickly as possible, but as kids get older, it becomes harder and harder because their peers are learning so quickly. It's easier to do when they're littler and there are less skills that they're already expected to know how to do. So right now, while your son is still so young, I would definitely urge you to consider a high-intensity ABA program. One of the things that, kids get from school is the ability to interact with peers, and that is really important. But if you find a high-quality ABA program, they should be able to make sure that they are incorporating peer interaction as part of the program so that he doesn't miss out on that. Another thing to consider is if he doesn't have some of the really important skills that he needs to be successful in school right now, then being in school may not offer him all the same learning opportunities as one of his peers might have. So ABA might be able to help make sure that he learns those really important early foundational skills so that when he does enter the school environment later on, he's going to be much better equipped to have a successful experience and really be able to learn in a school environment.
And, you are so wonderful and have given such a wonderful example of what this is. But I'm going to say, as a parent whose child who has been through a 40-hour program at the age of 3, and I've seen the benefit of what that is, please, and I'm a teacher, and I love schools, and I love teachers, please listen to this expert. And she says you may want to consider, and I'm going to tell you no. Please do a 40-hour program with your 3-year-old. And if you have 7 available minutes outside of that, make sure that you're learning how to do the 40-hour program and doing it at home. And if there is time in amongst all of that, after you have prioritized that and gotten those 40 hours, if there's a minute to go to school for a 3-year-old, sure. But I'm going to tell you, I doubt that that's a reality. What's going to happen is school is going to say, we have a program from 8 to 9:15, right? And that's the only time you can come there. And if that's a time when you have a therapist that could be doing one-on-one ABA, please do the therapy up to the 40 hours, because that's what the studies have shown that's effective. Please, please, please. Schools are telling everybody now, we just talked about this yesterday on the show too, they have this new thing where they're saying that quality ABA is more important. So do 10 quality hours of ABA and then come and do their full program. You just have to remember that the only way they get paid is if your child goes to school. And that ask these people who are saying this, where is the study showing that that is the truth, that 10 hours of quality ABA plus school gets it done? There is no study. Go find a parent that was able to do that on 10 hours of quality ABA therapy and their child went to school, and I will show you a parent who's in tears saying, I wish I'd done it differently. So please, 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 don't take my word for it. Ask the people at school who are telling you this information where their studies are, and then I will happily send you studies that we have that show that the opposite is true. Get the 40 hours, and then I will shut up about that. The next question, Aimee, is that it says, thank you for your show. My son is 8. He was diagnosed at 4. Things are going well, but not on back and forth conversation. He tends to monologue, and if I attempt to stop him, he shuts down and won't talk. What can I do?
Okay, good question. So I would start by making sure that your son understands the expectations for what a back and forth conversation looks like. So first of all, does he understand that expectation is to take turns? You say something, I say something, we go back and forth. You want to make sure that he knows what the expectations are, right? Because no one's going to be successful unless they kind of have guidelines for what they're supposed to do. And then what you could do is you could use some sort of visual to make this a little bit more concrete for him. So each time someone says something, they put a block on a tower, or or you trade like a talking stick back and forth when it's your turn to talk. Something that makes it clear for him that he understands that there is an element of turn taking within conversation, right? And then it might help to start with preferred topics. Pick something to talk about that he likes, so that he's going to want to talk about it, rather than trying to start off by picking something he doesn't care as much about, or what he did at school that day. Those things, while we might be interested in them, those might not be the most interesting thing to your 8-year-old. So I would start with talking about something that he's interested in, so that the motivation is already there. And then after he's doing well with that, you can expand out to maybe other topics of conversation that aren't his favorite thing to talk about. So those are just some tips for kind of getting started. And then, there's so much that goes into conversational skills. So much. But this is a good place to start in terms of making sure that he understands that there should be an element of taking turns with that.
What fabulous, fabulous advice, because I know a lot of people struggle with this. So, Aimee, thank you so much for being with us and providing these fabulous answers. Getting to have a wonderful expert like yourself to help fill in these gaps for parents is such a pleasure. Again, you are in, which of the San Antonio offices are you in?
I spend half my time at the San Antonio office and half my time at the Helotes office.
There we go. Okay, I knew it had a fun name, Helotes. So thank you on behalf of your parents that you work with and the supervisors and the families that you work with. Thank you so much for the work that you do. And will you please say hello to everybody there, especially to Oscar, who I ran off the phone very quickly to get you on the phone. But hug him for him, because Oscar is another part of the magic, just like you are down there, because if you are a Texas family and you have gotten to meet Oscar, then you know what I'm talking about. So thank you all for all the work that you do. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Shannon. I've been a fan of your show for a really long time, so it's a pleasure to get to be on.
Yay. Well, we're going to have you back when we can have picture and sound.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Aimee.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, she's so wonderful. I love the talent that we have. I'm still riding high on the fact that I just came back from visiting some of our offices and just seeing all the amazing, talented people that get to work with our kids. It's just it makes me feel whole. In any case, we're a little bit caught up now, so we're going to take a break, and we are going to get Bonnie Yates on with us, and she's going to be answering more of your questions, so stick with us.